was great. It was, with the family. Did a little bit of the course watching, and yeah, man. Just I said to myself, I need to wake up early in the morning to start. I'm not used to waking up at 5 in the morning, so I woke up at 5:30, a little late, but hey, man, it's a little something.
Awesome. How do you feel?
Bro, it doesn't feel better. I haven't even drunk coffee, and I feel pretty good, bro.
There you go. Have you did we talk about you taking cold showers? Did we talk about that?
No.
Okay. So cold showers, I mean, not something that you have to do, but that's something that like if you're a big coffee drinker, um
Hmm.
substituting that with cold showers, it's like drinking 10 cups of coffee and it's 10 times better for you anyway.
Well, you don't drink coffee, bro?
I mean, I do, but not like most people. Like the only reason I drink coffee is because my fiance is a big coffee drinker, and she'll
Mm-hmm.
make a pot, and I'll have one maybe twice a week. I'll have a cup of coffee, and if that, I don't even finish it. So
So
I
you
it's just for the taste. It's not something that like, oh my God, I need coffee to get my day started. I'm not like that.
so you
But what I
replace that
do
with the cold shower.
exactly. It's not like I'm replacing it. It's just that like that's cold showers are something I've always kind of done. That's always been kind of my forte. And you know,
Oof.
I only started drinking coffee because, we started living together and she has
Hmm.
we have a French press and she makes coffee all the time and I just like the taste of it. So
The taste of it, yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a nice thing to start your morning with, but again, it's not something that I feel like I need for the energy. If that makes sense. It's
But
just
how
the
cold? Like
taste.
you do it in the coldest setting, or like
So let's say you don't take cold showers right now. One thing that you
hmm
can start doing is start the shower on hot, like you normally do, and
hmm
every 20 seconds, or maybe even every 10 seconds, 15 seconds, you just move the dial down just a little bit, right? And
hmm
until you get it to as cold as it could be, you stand under it for 30 seconds. And the amount of benefits to that, it's just like drinking water. Like the amount of benefits to drinking water is countless. Like
yeah.
it's just never ending. Um, Same thing with the cold shower, or same thing with jumping in a cold ocean. The amount of benefits you have for that as well. So it's just and then at the end of it, you can just blast yourself with some hot water, and then you're out. But like you're just your body goes into like this mode of just extreme energy, and you just feel it. You're shaking, you're awake. Especially if like you just woke up and you hop in there, it's the best thing ever.
I'm gonna try that tomorrow, bro.
Yeah, highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. So how far did you get in the course?
So I did the basics.
Cool.
Um, I did a couple of the technical analysis, but I skipped over the mental foundations. So I'm gonna do that today.
Okay,
You
cool.
know, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just like I was saying in the chat, just go through the entire course as you would. All I was
In its
saying was
order.
just stop once you get to the back testing sessions, because at that point you don't have to get through all those before we hop on the Zoom. You can get
Gotcha.
through those on your free time where it's like, all right, I want to. You're putting down in your daily must, which you'll get to in the mental foundation. You'll figure out what that is, but
Mm-hmm.
you'll be able to get to that all that stuff and do one of those a day after we do our Zooms. But like I said, you don't have to get through those before we do that second Zoom.
Right. So just get through everything until the back testing sessions.
Exactly. But everything in order. And
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
the
yeah.
only thing I would say that you could skip through is the basics of Forex. If that's something that if
No, I'll
you're
watch it
some,
again.
okay,
I
cool.
mean, just to get the whole glimpse of it. I don't mind watching it again. You know what I mean?
Cool. Yeah, 100%. The Yeah, the basics of Forex is more for like people that are coming into this group that haven't really traded yet, that are just
Mm-hmm.
looking to get
Mm-hmm.
more out of themselves. Especially maybe it's like a friend of mine that wants to learn how to trade. I have that in there for them. But
Like a
most of you
breath.
guys like all know the basics. You know what a pip is,
Yeah.
what a lot is, all that stuff. But it's a good refresher if it's something that you want to watch and understand.
Nice, bro. Nice. So you took a trade already this morning? You already secured some?
Yes, I hopped into GJ. I'm gonna do a full breakdown for you guys, but if you take a look, grab this.
What broker do you use for GJ, like on Oanda?
It's called Trader's Domain.
No, I understand, but like when you're looking at it on Trading View, which one do you pick?
FXCM.
FXCM. Okay,
Yeah, I just choose the closest one to my actual broker for MetaTrader.
gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. So you could just toggle through. If you go to, GBP, JPY, you got all these different ones. Just look for the one that's closest to your MetaTrader.
Gotcha. Okay.
So this
And
was the
so you took a sell?
yes. If you take a look right over here, you had this previous support over here, and I'm actually gonna do like a full breakdown so you understand the way I look at charts and everything. I'm just waiting for a few people to hop in. They normally, start to stagger in a little bit, and then I have to do the breakdown again. So I don't want to have to.
Yeah. Don't go. Yeah. Don't do it over. So as you want to wait for them, that's fine, bro.
So normally what we do is like if you're like the first person in here or the second person in here, we're just kind of like chit-chatting about like the previous day and what exactly you were doing and just talking about the market, stuff like that. But then, once other people start coming in, then we start breaking down the fundamental and technical and stuff like that. Now, I do know there's a bunch of people that were away this weekend, so maybe we may be a little late today. A couple of people at like destination weddings, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we may be late today, but we'll see. We'll give it a second. Give them a second to hop in. So what broker are you using right now?
So to be honest, I don't use any broker I don't have any. I mean, for Forex, I don't have anything yet. So I was actually gonna ask you which one do you recommend, but you just told me Trader's Domain. So that's
Yeah, I would go with Trader's Domain. There's a trust there because it's you know who Raquel is?
yes, you told me that's he is the majority shareholder of it, right?
No, so he owns
Oh,
Dominion Markets.
Dominion.
But
Okay.
Ted, do you know who Ted is? Uncle
Ted,
Ted?
I think yeah, Uncle Ted's a beast, bro.
Yeah, he's crazy. But he owns Trader's Domain. So there's number one for me, the reason I switched over to them is you got the trust there. And number two, you have capabilities of using MT5 instead of MT4.
Nice.
So MT5 is a nice cleaner look.
So MT5 you connected straight to so you have a desktop, correct? That we're
I
using
do.
right now.
Yep.
And then you trade directly on the desktop,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Yeah, I
Okay.
trade right on my computer. I have two screens right here, and I trade on. I do my analysis on Trading View, and then I trade over here on MT5.
Hmm. And that can you do it also like if I have a MacBook, can I do that as well as only for Windows?
If you have what?
A MacBook, like a Mac.
Yeah, no, you need a Windows computer. But what you can do is there's programs where you can get like
Have both, right?
exactly. You can use MT5 or MT4 on that Mac. I think it's called like XM or something like that.
Gotcha.
Or you could just get a VPS and trade off of that. That might make sense. You know what a VPS is or VPN?
No, a VPN. I know that's like you can use like you can have like a different IP address,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, that's it's basically what that is. It's like a different desktop on your computer, and it's set up like a Windows. And you can download MT5 on there and trade that way. You don't have a Windows?
I don't, bro. I don't, but I don't mind getting one if that's the case, or like two. You know what I mean? I have two laptops basically. I have a MacBook Pro and another little MacBook Air,
Okay.
and that's what I do. And I have like a second screen. But I've been thinking about getting a desktop too.
Well, this is what I did. I actually had a MacBook Air. Actually, no. This. Okay, so what I did was I ended up buying my desktop, and I had a MacBook Air. I had that laptop, right? Now, what I did was I bought the desktop, and I ended up selling the MacBook Air because I didn't need a laptop anymore, and I flipped that for a brand new iPad. Now, I don't know
Really?
how I did it, but somebody needed a laptop for their wife, and he had the iPad, and he was like, we could do a switch right now, and I'll do it. And it was a 2013 MacBook Air, and I
Mhm.
was giving him that for like a brand new iPad, which was like a 2019 iPad.
What? You got a
Yeah,
good deal, bro.
I know. It's like, sure, absolutely, let's do it. So he ended. I mean, I commend him. He didn't want to do it, but he knew his wife needed a laptop. Um, so I respect that.
Nice.
What's up, Carlos?
Yo, what's up, man? Good
Good
morning,
morning,
everybody.
buddy.
Good morning.
How y'all
Carlos,
doing?
this is a new member of the group, Lewis. Lewis,
What's
this
up,
is
Lou?
Carlos.
Hey, what's going on, Carlos? Nice to connect with you, bro.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man. Welcome in.
Thank you,
Lewis is a
sir.
good dude. And he's from Miami, right?
Well,
Or
yeah, I live.
Hollywood. Hollywood.
Yeah, I
From
live.
Colombia.
Yeah, yep, yep.
From
What about you,
Colombia,
Carlos?
and now he lives in Hollywood.
And you, Carlos?
I'm from Louisiana, uh,
Nice,
a city called Kenner.
nice.
Carlos, how you been, buddy?
Man, I've been busy, bro. Honestly, this is
I
my first
know.
time looking at charts in like a couple of weeks, so I'm ready to get it in.
How's it feel?
That feels good. I got a little workout in this morning,
There you
so
go.
like I'm up, I'm up, I'm ready.
Good shit, man. Good shit. Yeah, it's anytime you step away from the charts for like more than 4 days, I feel like you get a little rusty. Like that happens
Mm-hmm.
with me. It happens with everyone. You just your eyes aren't where they need to be. And it takes a couple of days for you to get back into it. So if you want help and you want to hop on that Zoom, I know we were talking about it. Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna definitely let you know when's a good time for me and we could get it in.
Okay, awesome. I don't want to wait too much longer. I know a couple people were away on weddings, and I know Sammy went to Pakistan. Like, there's been a ton of Paul went down to Florida. There's been like a lot of different things that people have been doing. So I'm not gonna wait too much longer for them in case they are coming in. But what I have here is obviously our technical chart, which I'll break down in a second, but we'll get into the fundamental analysis and what we have going on in the economic calendar this week. Big PMI week this week, for a lot of our central banks and countries. So today is kind of a light day. We do have Powell talking at 12 p.m. So that's something that we're going to be paying attention to. I'm going to be seeing what he's talking about exactly to see if, the main thing that you want to see when it comes to these central bank heads is, are they looking to increase rates even more? Now, I know the central bank of the U.S., FOMC, they're looking to increase rates maybe 4 times this year. Now, there's an article I actually sent into Fundamental Chat over here. Right over here. Take a look at this. Bill Gross, big hedge fund manager, who retired, and now he's kind of on his own. He's older now. He's almost 80 years old, but he's talking about how the Fed, and this is what I've been talking about as well, warns that the Fed rate hikes will crack the U.S. economy and the housing market. So anytime that you increase rates in the U.S. or any central bank, what you're doing is making it harder for businesses to do business, making it harder for businesses to borrow money from banks and institutions and the government, right? So anytime you make the dollar more expensive to borrow, it's now harder for you to do business and harder for you to increase your bottom line or anything like that. So that's where you start to see the stock market start to take a hit, right, when it comes to any kind of bank increases. So that's something that you want to pay attention to. Are they going to be increasing rates even more in the next meeting? Right. That's what I'm going to be paying attention to over here. Now you got Monday, not much going on too much. Moving into Tuesday, you have Lagarde speaking as well. European Central Bank over here, the head of the European Central Bank. We'll see what she has to say. We have another FOMC member speaking as well tomorrow. But again, when it comes to data, there's not much coming out tomorrow either. So you may be getting some of the main moves starting on Wednesday, and a lot of GBP data coming out this week as well. You got CPI coming out, right? Inflation data. You have Bailey speaking. You have Powell testifying again and speaking again. You have annual budget release, right? The government's budget and what they plan on spending for the year. Crude oil inventories, that's something that we pay attention to. And then you got Bullard speaking as well, somebody who's also very hawkish and wanting to increase rates by 50 basis points at a time instead of 25. Now, I believe that we should be doing it by 25 basis points at a time just to ease it in, right? I do think that we need to increase the value of the dollar with all the inflation that we have. But at the same time, there's other measures that we could be taking, like becoming more energy independent again, instead of just, relying on foreign countries like Saudi Arabia and Russia, especially for oil, right? When you're doing that, when you're relying on other countries, and also for some reason, we're calling Venezuela for oil. Like if we wanted to, the U.S., if we wanted to, we could easily become the number one oil exporter in the world by far, right? But unfortunately, the current administration doesn't believe in that, or they don't believe in like easing out of that, right? If you want to become like more energy, what's the word for it? Cleaner energy, more like electric and stuff like that, which makes sense. If you want to go electric, that's fine. But you got to ease into that. And that's something I strongly believe in. You can't just like stop everything like that. That's why you start seeing your gas prices going up. Ever since this administration has come in, you've seen your gas prices rise and rise and rise. And all they're doing right now is blaming Russia, which is not correct. They're just lying to you. So we could go down that rabbit hole if you want, but we don't have to do that right now. Anyway, Bullard wants to increase rates by 50 basis points instead of 25. He's speaking again Wednesday night, 9 p.m. as well. And then what you get into is some of the PMI data, right? So you have, let's see, European German. Obviously, Germany is the main economy in Europe when it comes to the euro. So you got PMI coming out, manufacturing and services. You have GBP. If you guys trade GJ, I know both of you do. You have manufacturing and services coming out for them. We have core durable goods, right? This is key, as well as unemployment claims, as well as, obviously every Thursday that comes out. And then later on in the morning, we have manufacturing and services PMI. This is data that the Fed is going to be looking at. All this data over here, this is what they want to look at as far as increasing rates even more. Do we have good data coming out? Is our economy expanding? Do we need this, further stimulus of the economy, or can we start cutting back and increasing rates, right? That's why we pay attention to that as traders, because we can now predict what they're probably going to end up doing. Moving into Friday, again, another GBP data point coming out, retail sales. That's another big one for the Bank of England to see if they want to increase rates as well. They have good retail sales. That's gonna signal them to increase rates even more. They've been increasing rates the last 3 times, the last 3 meetings they've increased rates, and that's why you've been seeing like GJ go up the past couple of weeks, because they just increased rates as well as we did. Another big one on Friday, University of Michigan consumer sentiment, right? You also have inflation expectations over here as well. You have an FOMC member speaking, right? So you got a lot of things coming out this week, but specifically PMI on Thursday. You should have a lot of volume on Thursday and Wednesday as well, right? Unless unless Powell says something very surprising today at 12 p.m., I don't think we're going to have too much volume coming in the first couple of days. We may have a couple moves that we could take advantage of, but nothing too crazy. And any of you guys have any questions?
No, so far so good.
Good shit. All right, let's get into the fun part, breaking down the charts over here. Now, since Lewis, this is your first time on our stream over here, I'm just going to break down all these levels over here, because a lot of the time I like to keep like a skeleton on the chart as far as these higher time frames. But what you have over here on GJ is a multi-year downtrend, where price has been respecting these lower highs. Let me get these pulled out. You've been, and this will help you, Carlos, as well, being back on the charts and understanding some of these levels, so that you have a good idea where GJ is going to be going. So you have multiple hits over here of these levels. And now, as you see, price is starting to break out of that area with increasing rates, right? And the recovery from COVID. COVID was right over here. And again, like some of these moves over here, this move right here, this was the 2008 market crash. And when you had that, we created these lows back down at 120 over here. Price ended up creating this low right here. We retraced as always, right? And then we come right back down and retest that low. Just like it happens on the 30-minute time frame. When you get a nice impulsive move down, you create a low, retrace a little bit, sellers cash out, buyers take over, and then eventually you end up retesting that low. But we never broke the low over there. Then we entered our economic recovery. All right. We entered this economic recovery over here, and price is just, printing higher highs, higher lows all the way up here. And now we're kind of sitting right here over here as well. Right. And we'll get to like where we're at over here in a second. But as you can see, we're kind of in that same area, that same price point, 149 over here and 156 to 158 right over here. And eventually you could see history repeat itself. If we keep increasing rates, that's going to increase the value of the pound, and that's going to drive us up. And if we have less fear in the market, we have a lot of fear in the market with Russia and Ukraine, people are going to be investing their money into the Japanese yen. Do you understand safe haven currencies, Lois?
No.
Okay, so you know how you have safe haven metals like gold? Whenever there's fear in the market, people are investing into gold. Whenever there's inflation, people are buying gold. So there's also safe haven currencies. You have the US dollar, which is a safe haven currency. It's the world business currency. It's, whenever anyone needs to do business, a lot of times they're exchanging their euro, they're exchanging their Chinese yuan for the US dollar so that they can do business. They could buy oil. Something very interesting that's happening right now is that Saudi Arabia is now kind of changing their view on that and wanting to exchange money in the Chinese yuan, which is not good for us at all. Right?
Yeah. I did read about that. That means that the dollar's gonna lose some power, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And countries are losing respect for us, and I wonder why. Right? When you have countries losing respect for you, eventually your currency, which is everything to a country, is going to start losing value. But anyway, as of right now, the US dollar is still the world reserve currency. It's the world business currency. So people are going to be investing their money into that whenever there's any kind of fear in the market. It's this, and the same thing that's going on in the Western world. The Japanese yen is the same kind of thing out in the Eastern world when it comes to the Asian countries. Japanese yen is that safe haven currency as well. So whenever there's fear in the market, people are going to be investing their money into the Japanese yen as well. Now, because of their tax reasons and safe haven reasons and banking, all the benefits that the Swiss franc has, that's another safe haven currency as well. So whenever there's fear in the market, people can be investing into the Swiss franc as well. So you have the US dollar, Japanese yen, and the Swiss franc are all safe haven currencies. Make sense?
Gotcha. Yes, sir.
That's something that you could write down and remember, unless you could just remember it in your head.
No, I wrote it down. I'm writing it down.
Oh, awesome. So anyway, this was that economic recovery after the 2008 financial crisis. This happened in 2008. Right, as you can see over here, 2007, 2008. Now, it took us a while to recover from that. It took a couple of years to recover from that. As you can see over here, this 2010, 2012, all the way to mid 2012 into 2013 is when the world started to kind of recover from that 2008 mortgage crisis. right? The whole world was affected by that. So we finally were able to push all the way up to around like 195 over here, right? Until Brexit happened. So what you had right here, 195, the Bank of England and some of the politics and stuff like that. Boris Johnson was a big part of it. Brexit, they wanted to be separate from the euro, right? They didn't want to be part of the European group or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what you would call them, but they didn't want to be part of that. They wanted to conduct business on their own. Now, whenever you're doing that, you're cutting off exports, imports, stuff like that from the rest of Europe. That's going to hurt your currency. It's going to hurt your economy, right? You got to find different partnerships. You got to find all these different things. So eventually that hurt the Great Britain pound, right? But as you notice, we never broke the lows from the 2008 market crash. Right. So again, we created this impulsive low. We come right back up to, sellers cash out, buyers take over a little bit. We retrace. And then again, we come right back down and retest our lows again, as always. Right. So now what you have is price bouncing off this previous low over here. And then what happened? COVID happened. This is March and April of 2020. So when that happened, we ended up tanking. But again, you could argue that COVID was more detrimental than the what's it called, the 2008 market crash, because all these businesses closed down, all that stuff happened. People lost their lives. Obviously COVID was terrible in the beginning. So the interesting part is that it never broke the lows again of the 2008 market crash or Brexit, right? That means central bankers came in and took over, and they were like, we are never going to let this happen again. We're never going to let this happen again, where everyone loses all that money and we just kind of suffer from that. So they stepped in, and eventually they ended up stimulating the economy, and we've been in a bullish trend ever since. Right? Yeah. We've just been retesting higher highs, higher lows. Now, that previous retracement from 2008 or from Brexit right over here was 156, which is a level that we always mark off here. You're following me so far? Seems like it.
Yep.
Awesome. So we had 156 finally get retested last year, where ever since the COVID tank, we've been in this bullish trend. We ended up holding support here, another higher low over here. And then ever since this higher low was formed, we started pushing all the way back up to 156, right? Of course, once you tap into an area like that, a high supply zone, price is going to retrace, right? We're going to get some kind of, buyers, cashing out, taking profit, sellers taking over a little bit. And we ended up coming right back down to previous candle body highs over here to 149, which is another level that we always mark off. 149. So now we've been sitting in this range over here. So once we tapped into 149, where's that label? Sorry, I've partially OCD when it comes to marking off charts. That could be good or bad. I think it's more good than bad. So once we tapped into 149 over here, there were rumors that the Bank of England was going to increase rates over here, right? So they ended up increasing, or they didn't end up increasing rates, but the rumor, again, buy the rumor, sell the news. So you end up getting this rally all the way up to 158, right? Which we can actually mark off right now. This is good to do on a Monday, just to refresh and understand what's going on, especially like Carlos, you coming back to the charts too. It's good to like just get this refresher and understand like all the moves behind GJ. So we get that rumor that they're going to increase rates. So when they increase rates, as you know, or as you may know, the I got you, brother. As you may know, the interest rates in any kind of currency, when it comes to Forex, the main mover, main fundamental in currencies is interest rates, right? And then I would say maybe GDP, Just like with stocks. With stocks, it would be probably sales of a company, right? How are the sales doing? What's the income of the company doing? Price to sales ratio, price to earnings ratio, stuff like that. That's for stocks. The main mover in currencies is the value of the currency, which is the interest rate. So when you have a rumor like that they're going to be increasing rates, that's going to drive GJ up, right? So we end up driving GJ up, and then what happens? A lot of buyers start taking profit up here, right? And then what happens is this candle ends up closing right below 156 or right at 156. We don't close above. And then shortly after that, they don't increase rates with a surprising move, right? So that drives us all the way back down to 149, right? And then with a surprising move in December, this was November, in December, they actually ended up increasing rates, which drove us all the way back up to 158 again, right?
Ouch.
Yeah. So once they did that, we ended up holding support over here, and they increased rates a couple of times. So they increased rates again, pushing us right back up to 158. So once they increased rates and pushed us to 158, what ended up happening after that? Shortly after that, Russia invaded Ukraine, which pushed us all the way back down to this level over here. And then what did they do last week? They actually increased rates again, which pushed us up again, right? So this is where fundamentals come into play, not just technicals, but understanding the three parts of trading Forex. It's fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and sentimental analysis. What are people thinking? That's basically what sentiment is, right? So you want to understand, you want to be at the forefront, or actually, be ahead of what people are probably going to think. Like, what are people going to think next, right? And being able to predict that, and being able to predict anything in any kind of market or any kind of business is where you want to be. Even in sports, if you're playing basketball and you're able to predict what the next player or the player that you're playing is about to do, listen to Michael Jordan. He said it best. He said, if you're able to predict what they're going to do, that's exactly where you want to be. And that's the true, what's the word? The true sign of a professional, when they can predict. We got Jaden coming in. So that's where you want to be as a trader, being able to predict where price is going to go based on what you think people are going to be thinking down the road or even now, right? And just being able to predict that is where you want to be. So anyway, we ended up coming all the way down here, increasing rates. There's been a little bit less fear when it comes to the Ukraine-Russia thing. There's been a couple of talks, stuff like that. I don't think they're going too many places, but that's kind of what has driven GJ up over here, because there's less fear in the market. You have the Japanese yen, less people pulling their money out of the Japanese, or more people pulling the money out of the Japanese yen into the Great Britain pound, especially with increasing rates, and that's going to drive GJ up. So that's what you saw all last week, that big rally last week on GJ. What's up, Jaden?
What's up, bro?
How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. Congrats on the job.
Thank you.
Let's go, baby. It's awesome. Let's concern. That's always where you want to be as a trader, especially.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving into the weekly, we're just doing a break. Oh, Jaden, this is Lewis, by the way. We get a new member in the group. Lewis is Jaden from Washington.
Hey, Jaden. How you doing, man? Nice to meet you, bro.
Nice to meet you, brother.
All right.
Welcome to the group.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm down here in Florida.
He's down in Hollywood, Florida. He's from Colombia.
Yes, sir.
I'm jealous.
All right. So anyway, we have a couple levels that we can mark off now. Now that you could see, obviously you could see on the monthly too, but you see on the weekly too, we're just in this big range between really 156 and 149, but also 158 now and 149. So price is just kind of bouncing back and forth. No clear direction on the higher time frames as far as like where we're going to go until we start breaking 158. Then we know we could clear out of that area and continue bullish. Where will our next, we don't really have to worry about this, but as of now, but our next area will probably be this wick that we're going to end up filling over here to the left, which is around 160, which obviously is a psychological number. So that's exactly what you want to be aiming for. And then eventually after that, probably get into this area of 164 over here to the left. Previous support, resistance, and this wick tap up here. All right. But right now we got more levels that we need to break before we get to that area. So as you guys know, price ended up coming down into 151, which we can mark off here, tapped into this area. And we also had a level over here around 153 that I'm going to mark off. Now, if you look to the left, always look to the left for certain levels. You had a previous resistance at that level, resistance here, some trouble in this area. You had this wick right over here. And then what you saw over here, as you see this gap over here, this candle was very bullish when it was forming that top wick over there. It looked like we were going to get a bullish big belt. And Lewis, do you know what that is?
Bullish what?
Big belt.
Big adult? No.
No. Like a belt. People wear belts.
Oh, belt. Oh, no.
Okay, so if you read the book Naked Forex, you'll know what I'm talking about. A bullish big belt is where a candle opens up, like a bullish candle opens up many pips below the close of the previous candle over here. So it looked like that's what we were getting. And whenever you get that on the higher time frames, most of the time, price is going to continue in the direction of that candle. And especially on the higher time frames, don't really pay attention to it on the 30-minute, the 15-minute, but on the higher time frames, that's where you can pay attention to that and kind of predict where price is going to go with that. All right. So I can explain that more on a Zoom with you. And also, especially if you read that book, I think there's a free PDF.
Naked Forex, right?
Naked Forex. I think there's a free PDF in the books channel over here. In the in the Slack group, if you just scroll up, I believe it's in there. Now, again, we ended up tapping off 140. Well, this candle ended up flipping bearish after forming that top wick and closing below this level, right? But we ended up holding support here at 151, right? Previous support, previous rejection area to the left over here, not as strong as 153, but it was strong nonetheless. So we ended up creating this, passing the low over here, flipping bullish, closing a strong bullish candle with a wick to fill. This candle created a very small bottom wick, passed the high of that candle, and just took off. So now we're sitting right back into this range between 158 and 156, right? And we're kind of sitting at 157 right over here and kind of rejecting it. Previous candle body highs to the left, right? Rejection area here and right over here as well. And we just capitalized in the London session. If you take a look, I'm still in it. I'm on sells from this level over here. But again, when you're trying to trade against the trend over here, you need to wait for certain levels to break. And that's what there's actually a video in the course about that too. But that's exactly what we did. We stayed patient, and that's what we were waiting for. If you read through the London session. So I'm actually going to mark off 157 over here as well. Almost got it. And that's what we're reacting to right now. So potentially after a strong bullish candle like this, you could see a bottom wick formed on this candle flip bullish and continue up, especially if we get some good data coming out of Great Britain this week. We have a lot of data coming out of Great Britain this week. So we'll see if that's what we end up getting. And this candle ends up flipping bullish to continue up towards like the middle of the week. All right, you always want to see in the beginning of a candle, you want to see it form that bottom or top wick, and then the second half of the candle flip and continue in the direction of whatever the direction the market is in. All right, looking at the daily now. What was interesting last week was we ended up closing right over here, very strong bullish candle, closing above 156. This candle passed the high right away, and ended up flipping bearish, creating this bottom wick, and then closing right below that level. But we've seen many times where this candle closes a very weak candle And then we end up holding support right over here on the lower time frames and continue to drive up to fill this wick, right? So we just got a very strong candle, but it did close exactly at that 157 level. So right now you could see the top wick formed, us flipping bearish and continuing back down. If you look to the left, you see very sticky price action in this whole area over here, right? So is it, I mean, you could very well catch trades in here, and I could see us doing that, but you want to be a little bit more careful in areas like this, as opposed to areas like this, where you have like clean price action. Right over here, right in here, it gets a little sticky, right? So you just got to be aware of that right now. Get rid of all these arrows. So again, daily candle, we just had a very strong daily candle right over here. Just breaking down the candles, the anatomy of the candles, very strong candle. We have a support right here. Could we just be forming that bottom wick over here for the second half of the day to start flipping bullish and continue up? Or are we going to drop down even further, or maybe even close bearish over here, hold support right here, hold support somewhere in here, and then continue to drive up tomorrow, or create like a bottom wick on the next daily candle, and then we continue right back up tomorrow. Always try to visualize what you're going to see next, or what you could possibly see next based on data that you've gotten in the past and based on previous trades you've had in the past. That's why you journal. Looking at the 4 hour. So as you can see, this is that move up with less fear in the market and them increasing rates, right? So there's multiple reasons why we had that move over there. And the main reason was increasing rates for the Bank of England. So now you have this previous support to the left, right over here as well. Price is holding. You have 156. We have marked off over here. But as you can see, after breaking through 156, we ended up creating this resistance up here and then rejecting it to continue down to create another higher low to then continue right back up, retesting the high and create a new high. So right now we're kind of sitting and retesting that previous resistance over there. Right now could create a support, or we could break back down into this range over here. Right, we got to see. But as you can see, this candle ended up closing with no top wick. We got a bearish candle over here. This candle ended up closing a doji, but below this candle right here. And then we just had consecutive bearish candles, weak bearish candles with top wicks, lower highs, and lower lows forming, to now continue right back down to this level right here. Right, so where are we going to go from here? Are we going to close back into this range, or are we going to hold support right here and continue to drive right back up? Like, this is a place right now for me where I'm probably going to be taking profit, because I took sells from up here to continue right back down. And this was my ultimate target for now.
Yeah.
Let me just take a look at the price action right now. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to just trail my stop loss above the previous 1 hour candle instead of securing more, because I already secured 80%. I'll break down this trade in a second. So everyone's catching on so far? Everyone's following?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. 1 hour, as you can see, now you can actually adjust this and see that we had this previous resistance over here. You got that wick right in that area right over there. And we actually closed below, but with no bottom wick. So this is one clue that tells us that we could be passing the low of this candle right over here and end up rejecting it to continue back up and maybe fake this level out and then continue back up from here. But we don't have any safe buys yet. It's not like we're just going to blindly take a buy right here to continue up. We need to see certain levels break. Now, right now, you could see we've been respecting this bearish trend over here, creating lower lows, lower highs, like I broke down on the lower time frames. And we ended up breaking below and closing below this previous support with this candle and this candle. This candle retested it, respected this level. And then this candle ended up just dropping from here with no top wick and no bottom wick, which is interesting. All right, so where is this candle going to go? Actually, with this never mind. So I think that's pretty much good for the 1 hour. Now, on these time frames over here, you want to see the next level that price could get to. Got kind of a clean move here, got some of these wicks in this area, but this previous resistance over here, can we be coming down into this level? After that, you have a previous consolidation right in here that price could be coming into and retesting that low as well. All right, so you're just waiting for levels to break as a scalper, and that's it. You're just looking to the left, looking for the most recent support and resistance and continue down. Now, we could very well easily break through this area and continue right back down to this support, right? But nonetheless, you may get a reaction here. Now, 30-minute. This was the trade I ended up taking. I took it based on the 15-minute, but you can mark it off right here. My stop loss was at 827. So I'm still in this. And what you ended up having was you have, again, this close below this level. You did have this level right over here, which you got to like be aware of, but you ended up having a strong close below this previous support right here, a retest with this candle, right? This candle ended up retesting this level, but rejecting that level and closing below. Then you get a doji at this candle. Top wick formed, lower high formed, right? Lower high than the previous candle. Close the doji candle over here, but we ended up rejecting this level as well. Now, once this 6 o'clock volume started coming in, we didn't create a top wick, but we ended up pushing down and passing the low of that candle. Again, I took this based on the lower time frames over here. As you can see, GJ is continuing to drop over here. So I'm actually going to take a piece off again. Just give me a second. Chris, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good morning, man. How are you? Good shit. Chris, this is we get a
nice trade.
Lewis. Lewis, this is
What's up, Louis?
What's going on, Chris? How you doing, man? Nice to meet you, bro.
Good. Nice to meet you too, bro. Welcome.
You have a good weekend, bro?
Sir.
Yeah, I had a good weekend, and I'm finished my fast today, so I'm excited.
There you go. I didn't know you were fasting.
Yeah, I did the Daniel fast.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was. It's just water, vegetables, no added sugar, no processed food. It was tough, but I'm happy I got through it.
There you go. It's a whole mental thing.
Yeah.
I might have to try that. So anyway, so again, I just secured a little piece over here. Again, we just reached another level. So I normally like to, I was actually trailing my stop along the current 1 hour candles. So I ended up just taking a little piece off of here. We're just dropping right over here, which is nice. And I'm just trailing my stop. But every level I like to, this is my rules, and this is what you guys need to stick to, is sticking to your rules as far as every level. And these are just my rules, don't have to be yours. But every level I like to take a little profit, little piece off. Doesn't have to be much, but just like a little, maybe like 25% or 20%, take it off every single time. And then you just continue down and trail your stop along the top of the 1 hour candle. So my stop loss is right here. But looking at the 15-minute now, this is where I started to enter this trade based on the fact that this candle ended up passing the low. I've seen this set up many times where you close below the level, we come up to retest this previous support right over here, and you keep closing very weak candles below that area. And then you get the volume coming in at 6 a.m. We start to pass the low of these wicks. That's where I entered. I wasn't too worried about this wick because I knew we were coming up to like retest this area right over here. right? This candle ended up flipping bearish, passing the low. I entered another little position right here. Make sense? And I was expecting a wick fill right here and at least 10 pips. We had a big enough range to grab 10 pips and a retest of this previous resistance over here, right? So you definitely want to be taking profit in an area like this most of the time. So that's what I ended up doing. Secured 80% at 10 pips, stop loss at break even, right? And price has just been dropping. I secured a little piece in here, and then you just saw me secure another little piece over here. And now my stop loss is, again, like I said, above this 1 hour candle. All right. Everyone clear on that trade?
So what was the support level that you took it upon when he broke that support level? You waited for the retest, so as soon as he broke, you took it.
Yes. So which level? This one that I have marked off?
Yeah.
So I took it based on the fact that these candles were were closing below here, right? You have previous rejections in this area where price is holding support on the 15-minute, the 30-minute as well. Got another one right here. We had a little, like almost like a fake out right over here, but still creating a lower high, right? Then you finally got a strong close below that level, but no bottom wick. So you're not just going to take an impulse after this candle closed, because you know you're going to get some kind of a rejection or this candle passing the low right away, which is something you don't want, because once you pass the low right away, there's a high probability that price is going to retrace and continue back up and flip bullish and continue back up to this level or even back into this range over here. But it didn't. This candle ended up closing below that area. This candle ended up pushing into that range, but closing below it. A weak bullish candle. This candle ended up closing bearish, passing the low of that candle. A weak bearish candle. So I don't want to take a sell yet. This candle did pass the high and close bullish, but still below this level. And then you got this candle starting to pass the low. You get the volume at 6 a.m. These are certain things that you want to be writing down in your trading AAR. And that's something, Lewis, we'll get to in your second Zoom. And that's going to be something that's going to be really helping you stay accountable to yourself, accountable to me, without me like kind of like breathing down your neck. These trading AARs I know a lot of guys in this group love it because they feel themselves getting better and better every single week now that they're doing that. And that's something kind of fairly new that I've implemented, that it's like I've been in business for a year now, so I've learned what to do, what not to do, and how to hold you guys accountable without breathing down your neck, which is something that none of us need. You guys are all adults. But something I figured out that like will help you guys a lot. And like I said, a lot of guys love it now. So, so again, looking over here, you get that push, that 1 hour push, or the 6 a.m. push over here. The candle closed below this level, but it did pass the low of the wick. So that's where I entered with my stop loss up here. This candle came up, grabbed liquidity, flipped bearish, past the low of this candle, and we should be at least filling this wick, and we can at least grab 10 pips because this range right here is big enough for us to trade. About 20 pips. So in a 20 pip range, you can at least grab 10 of them.
Nice, bro.
So now looking at where we're at right over here, we now reach this level and we're starting to reject this level a little bit. I'm not saying we're not going to break through it because we very well can, but again, we have very choppy price action once we get into here, right? You have a little bit cleaner price action in these two ranges, but once you get into here, it gets a little bit choppier. So again, let's go back to the higher time frames to see what we could end up doing over here. Now we're sitting at that 4 hour resistance that we just broke down, right? So again, you're going to get, and their candle body closes. So you're going to get some kind of a reaction here, which you're getting right now. We could very well hold support here and continue up, but that doesn't mean you're going to take buys yet. Taking buys, you need to wait for certain things to break. Now in the higher time frames, safer buys are going to be once you break 157 over here, because now you're breaking the bearish trend, right? Now, if you start to break support here, or if you start to hold support here and get some bullish candles closing and then higher lows forming, you could possibly take high risk, high reward buys back up to either this level right here, 156,800, where we could potentially break through that to 157, or you could grab this move right up here where price continues back up. You grab it from right here to take price out, but you got to see how many pips you have, which is about 20 pips. You may be able to grab that move, right? But this could be an area that you're more aware of because you're just trying to buy the short-term buys up to this level before price continues back down this way. So these buys, you need to ask yourself, are they worth taking? Or am I just going to wait for price to form this area for me then to just take these sells right back down? Make sense? But just always be aware of the higher time frames and where price is going, because the higher time frames are extremely bullish. And as you know, we're just kind of, it looks like, at least, we're just forming that bottom wick on the daily or the weekly right now. After a very strong bullish candle, we could just be forming that bottom wick over here to continue bullish through 157 and continue up. So you're almost like looking for the dip to buy up. Now, I would just be aware the next couple of days, Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday, where you're waiting for some of that data to come out. Wait for price to just kind of sit where it's at right now. And then once the data comes out, then we start to flip bullish. Then you start to see that bottom wick formed, price start to flip bullish and continue up. All right. Are we clear on GJ?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good shit. Everyone else? Just want to double check something. Yeah. That's a key level right there. So you have this trend over here bouncing off this area multiple times. Now we're starting to enter this key area, which is, again, looking at the 4-hour previous resistance here. Right now could hold support to continue up from here. Right. So we want to see that retest of 157, and you got to see if there are possible buys that you could grab here, or see if, like, you get a 4-hour bullish candle formed right here, you could potentially take this thing up. Like I said, high risk, high reward buys back up to 157, 157, 200, and continue up to 158. Let's move over to gold now. Gold, I have some of these levels marked off as well. You have this bullish trend we've been respecting over here. And since February, again, with all that fear in the market, pushing us up to all-time highs of 2075. Again, whenever you reach a level like that, you're going to see buyers take profit, right? And sellers take over. So that's exactly what ended up happening over here. Plus, you got the increase in interest rates in the U.S. So there was short-term strength on the U.S. dollar, which is, again, you know, that's what this pair is against, the U.S. dollar and gold. You're going to see this pair drop a little bit when you increase rates. Again, increasing rates is the number one fundamental in Forex. So that's why you got, and then plus a lot of that fear kind of started to subside with a little talk going on with Russia and Ukraine. So there's a little bit of fear dropped out of the market, but at the same time, like this whole war is still going on. So I don't think we're going to drop too much until, you know, they end up stopping us. And then you could see us dropping right back down and flipping bearish and continuing down. But nonetheless, the monthly, very bullish with a wick to fill, ended up filling that wick, pushing all the way up to all-time highs, and now we're retracing. And you got that 1910 level, previous candle body highs over here as well. resistance over here as well. So this is a very key level right now. Looking at the weekly, previous resistance 1910. Again, this candle ended up rejecting this level. We got this bearish candle, created a very small top wick, passing the low of this wick right here and continuing right back down. But we ended up respecting 1910, right? So are we going to hold support here to continue to drive up? And this is that dip that we continue to buy up, or are we going to end up flipping bullish after creating a top wick anywhere in this area up here, and then end up flipping bearish to fill this wick and continue right back down to 1830. Now, if you remember, 1830 is that previous consolidation area, couple fake outs of it, but previous consolidation area, as well as 1750 over here, previous support of that area as well. So we've just been consolidating until Russia invaded Ukraine, and we got this nice bullish movement from gold. So can we be coming back down to revisit this area? And again, you have this trend here. Could we be coming back down to grab, more attractive buy levels, right? Buying at a discount of 1830 to continue right back up to 1975 and continue up. If there's, if like World War III breaks out, you could definitely see that happening. Looking at the daily, if you guys remember, we had that previous consolidation over here, right over here, where we ended up pushing up to 1975, rejecting that level. This candle ended up respecting the previous support over here. And then we got, especially this strong bullish candle, wick past the high of the previous candle and closed a strong bullish candle. This candle created a bottom wick, flipped bullish, continued up, higher low right around 1920, created that support. We pushed all the way up here. Now we basically corrected that whole move with the increase in interest rates. And now, as you can see, we're sitting at a very key level over here between 1910 and 1920. Now on the 4-hour, we ended up creating this higher low. And if you guys remember last week, I was talking to Chris about this too. This was that level that you wanted to be aware of, because as you could see, it looked like we had an opportunity to buy the dip after a liquidity grab and a bullish candle. This candle created a bottom wick, flipped bullish, and started pushing up. And it looked like we could continue up. But I said, be aware of this level right here, because you need that level to clear before you could take buys back up. Makes sense? So now what we ended up getting was a daily candle close, passing the low of that candle over here, and closing a very strong bearish candle. But again, we're at a very key level right here. What level is this? Yeah, 1920, which we can mark off. And price holding support so far. But are we just creating this top wick on the daily to then flip bearish and continue down to 1910? Or are we going to hold support and like a higher low, respect this support over here and continue up? But again, on the higher time frames, for any kind of swing, you should probably wait for this area for safe buys. Wait for this area to break and retest with a clean move to the left, at least up to 1975. Four-hour. Now it starts getting a little messy over here. 4-hour, we've been recently, since tapping into this area, previous highs over here, we've been creating these lower lows and lower highs. Right, respecting this bearish structure over here. But again, we're holding a very key level of 1920 that we keep bouncing off of, holding that support. Right, looking at this area right here, previous resistance, support over here. We're now holding this area as a resistance so far, right? But the problem is we have an indecision candle where this candle passed the high of the previous, right over here. So we're still holding this as a resistance, but nonetheless, we're not like breaking anywhere past this. I think we need safer sells below 1920. That'll be a better area to sell. Couple wick rejections here. 1 hour. Now we're just kind of consolidating. Now you could mark this level off right here and then sell below that. But at the same time, you don't have much of a range. It might be better for you to wait for price to close below this level right here with a cleaner move to the left right back down to 1920 or 1910. But we keep getting these rejections, just very messy price action. Like big wicks, small bodies, not enough clear direction over here. I do like this rejection off 1928, but again, it's just very weak candles and a lot of indecision over here. 30-minute, all consolidation. So in a way, we always like to do this. You could block this off and wait for buys right here to take price right back up to here. Previous support and resistance right over here. Clean kind of a move right here. It does get a little messy over here, but you do have a clean move. So you may want to just wait for the retest instead of a breakout over here. Plus you're breaking the trend. So you may want to retest that trend before continuing up. Do you want to take price in here? Do you want to take a sell right in this area? I don't know. You may want to wait for that level to break. You may want to wait for this support to break because again, this is the range right here that you want to be trading in. A lot better than this range right here, right? But you could get a move, but these would be high risk, high reward sells. I would wait for this retest and candles to close in your direction, a nice bearish candle close to take price right back down to this level because it could happen, right? Just be aware of that 1920 area. Everyone following along?
Yes, sir.
Good shit. Chris, you looking at the same thing on gold? Chris? Breaking up a little bit. You're on the trend.
I'm still the same thing on gold. I want a 30-minute candle to close above 1830.
1930?
Reset. Yeah. I mean, what did I say? Yeah, 1930. Close above 1930. Or I'm looking at a close below 1920. Let's say.
Or you're looking for something like this? 1936?
Well, I'm looking for a 30-minute candle close above 1930.
1930. Yeah, this. Makes
hear me?
sense. Would you be waiting for the retest or you just want that strong candle close above?
Yes, and I'll be dropping to the 5-minute to look for that retest. I know it's, not ideal to go to low time frames, but I'll be looking at the 5-minute for that retest after a 30-minute close above 1930.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense.
But I'm also,
No, go ahead.
But I'm also, being fluid and while looking for a sell to below 1920.
Okay.
So,
All right. So yeah, you're waiting for this level to clear as well. Yeah, that's the thing where like you could say that you're looking for this close above this area right here, right? And what Chris was just saying was he's looking for the retest on the 5-minute, which is candle bodies closing and candle bodies closing bullish on the 5-minute and holding that support to continue up, right? But on the 30-minute, it's just a bottom wick formed, and then I'll do this. It's just like this bottom wick formed right here. And then price flips bullish to continue up. So that's what he's looking for as well with some of these candles over here as well to the left. So he's looking to mirror those candles up to 36. Now, you got to be fluid in the market. You have to have certain rules. And more specifically, you need to make the rules closer to when price is actually doing this, because being fluid in the market means like you're waiting for certain things to happen, but you're kind of flexible as far as those things happening. That could be a very gray area for a lot of traders. But you need to be able to stick to your word. That's a very low key in this market. It's just being able to stick to like what you say you're going to wait for. Now that's his area, but you got to wait to see how these candles are going to form around this area. Maybe they form a little messy around this area and they keep faking this out. He needs to adjust his plan a little bit. All right. So it's just one thing that you want to keep in mind. But he knows for a fact. What's up?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But like you were saying, like if it does, a 30-minute candle does close above 1930, then I see on a 5-minute time frame, it's a lot of bearish candles and it's not creating no support in that area, then I'm not, my bias can change. I could,
Makes sense.
for the 1920 to break.
Makes sense. Yeah. But I mean, the one thing in common that we're talking about is we're not looking to trade in this at all. All right. So let's go back to monitor GJ real quick and see where we're at on this trade. As you can see, we're getting that support formed. I'm still in this, by the way. Let's see, where was that entry? Right over here. My stop loss is right here. There you go. So that's the new stop loss with the runner. So again, we're getting that reaction off this area, which again is the 4-hour resistance over here and the key area of this trend, right? So expect some kind of a bounce off that area, like I said, and that's why I secured a good amount around 30, 35 pips down here, because I knew that, after that volume push that we could get some kind of a reaction in this area. And that's what we're getting right now. So it's up to you if you want to take buys in here, but I would wait for at least 156,600 to clear and close above that area, maybe a higher low formed in that area before you take price up, and even better, wait for 156,800 to break and close above, where you get a move like this. This will be your trade to take, and then even better than that, this is an even better trade to take, or safer trade to take. Yeah, Sam in here. What's up, buddy? Sam, are you there?
What's up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, are you?
Good, man. We got a new member in here, Lewis. Lewis, this is Sammy.
Welcome, brother. Welcome.
Hey, what's going on, bro? Nice to meet you, bro.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man. Any trade this morning, Steph, or just the one?
Just this one right here. Took this on the based on the 15-minute more, also the 30-minute, but once we ended up clearing, I just broke this down before, but once we were respecting this area right here and getting these weak candles closing below this level.
Yeah.
Once we get the strong volume at 6 a.m. pushing below these wicks, that's where I entered this with a stop loss up here.
Nice.
Yes, sir. So as you guys could see, we just got a 15-minute close in this area over here. Bottom wick formed, passing the high of that candle. You could expect a retest of 156.30. Now, the thing that you want to measure is, like, do you have enough range right here to take this? No, you only have 7 pips. So that's not a valid range for you to trade. I mean, you already have a 2-pip spread probably, at least. So if you have a 2-pip spread, that's only 5 pips that you could get. And what's realistic to grab in a 5-pip range? Maybe 3 pips. Like what's the point of that? So you just want to wait for certain things to happen, and plus you'd be trading against the trend as well. So guys, just keep in mind that this is just gonna close that out. I just closed my trade before I hit my stop loss up here. So now this trade is done. And now while we're waiting, I'm actually going to journal this in front of you guys just so you guys understand, like, what exactly I'm looking for. Let's see, or what exactly I do when it comes to taking trades. Let's get this thing ready. All right. Trying to implement my journaling a lot more again. Definitely just haven't had the time to do it. And plus, like, again, my skill has definitely increased, and it almost feels like I've enough samples from all my other previous journal trades that I can only, get so many more setups. But again, don't listen to that. You guys should definitely be journaling. I believe I grabbed 32 pips. So those of you guys that haven't been journaling yet, sell ideas. I honestly may wait until I break below 1918 to look for a trade. It may be a no trade day for me, honestly. Yeah, again, it's Monday. So like you don't need to be taking anything that you feel like is like a forced trade, like something that it's something that, like, you're looking at the chart and you're like, I don't know about that. Like it's like a 50-50 trade. Those trades on a Monday you don't want to be taking, but you can maybe take those on a Tuesday where you lower your risk. A Wednesday, Thursday where you add more volume, you lower your risk a little bit, and then you could take those. Right, lower your risk to like 0.5%, 1% instead of 2%. Like those trades you may want to stay away from. But definitely on a Sunday or a Monday, Friday, after like having a good week, you don't want to be taking those trades too much. You want to wait for your exact setup and exactly what you say you're going to wait for. Now, something more advanced. Again, I like how we keep respecting this area over here and closing below this area. We just got this top wick formed, passing the low of those candles right there on the 30-minute. Could we be coming back down to this level with a stop loss above this level? Right here, and then you leave a runner right back down to 1920. But again, I'm not going to be taking that. I'm good. Wait, Jaden, what? Nice. The 2-minute omelet maker. Dude, you want to hear something crazy about this? Jaden, you here?
Yeah.
In college,
What's up?
I was living in the dorm, and I had an egg maker like this. And this is terrible, but dude, I think I came back from a night out and I made eggs and I passed out for the whole night. And I woke up, my entire room was just smoky and the eggs were like black. And terrible. Never do that. And again, this is when I was a lot less mature than I am now.
Yeah, dude, this thing is clutch. You got all the protein you need for in 2 minutes. Perfect for before trading.
There you go, man. You meal prepping or anything like that? You looking to get anywhere?
Yeah, we're gonna start this week. We just moved into our new place. Got all moved in yesterday, so
Nice.
gonna go grocery shopping and get all this stuff for it.
Good shit. If you need a diet, I got you. I know Gio will help you too. He's good with that. He's actually in the Philippines right now, so that's why he hasn't been on the Zooms. He's got a couple
really?
of properties in the Philippines, dorms for colleges that him and his partners have been putting up, but he hasn't been able to get like internet connection or anything like that. So he's gonna be gone for, I think, 5 weeks now. It was 6 weeks, now it's 5.
That sounds really cool though.
I know. And that's where he's from. He's from the Philippines.
Oh.
What was I just talking about? Oh, I was gonna journal this trade for you guys. So, and before I get to that, Chris was just saying it may be a no trade day. Again, like it's Monday, guys. This is where you want to relax. You don't want to take anything too pushy. Just sit back and watch the market. You could sit on your hands today and just journal the trades you would have taken. You don't have to like rush into anything today because a lot of people maybe like either you put in a lot of work on the weekend, which is great. That's what you want to do. But when you do that and you do like a bunch of back testing, you're building a lot of confidence, you're studying your previous trades, stuff like that. When the market opens on Sunday, you get very antsy to take a trade because your confidence is pumping and you have that overconfidence pumping in, and you don't want that. You want confidence, just not overconfidence, because that'll get you in a lot of trouble with over trading and over risking. But Monday is where you just want to like calm your emotions, chill out a little bit, watch the market set up for the week, watch that bottom or top wick form on the weekly candle, and then end up, taking a trade on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those are those sweet spots for trading. But does anyone want to see how I journal? Or should I do it on the other screen?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. So looking over here at my journal, this is my journal for 2022. Again, like I said, I haven't gotten as much journaling as I used to, just because of my time constraint. Like I spend a lot of time on you guys with the individual Zooms. I got the driving and everything like that going on too. So it's been tough for me to journal. That's why like I want to start journaling on these Zooms, while we're doing our live analysis and we're waiting for things to set up, stuff like that. This is where I could be journaling and spending my time journaling, especially like in front of you guys. Like it'll help you guys. So the first thing you want to do is start with your title. So let's say I didn't even close the trade yet, and I'm just journaling the trade as I'm in it. What you want to do is either it's a short or a long, right? Obviously, it's long as a buy, short as a sell. So short the pair. And then what I'll do is if I'm still in the trade and I don't know how many pips I gained or lost, I'll just do short GJ on the date 3/21/22 at what time, right? So we took this around 6 a.m., but we want to see the exact time that we took this. So I took this around 6:15, and more specifically, I always want to know like the exact time I took it. So it was more like, 6:15. I took this right over here as we broke the low of these wicks over here. So 6:15. You always want to get that exact time. 6:15 a.m. and then the day, and then the session, which is New York. Right now, in my case, I already grabbed the trade plus 32 pip gain on that date. Go to labels. This was a win, and it was a successful runner. Now, the first thing you want to do is go up to the higher time frames over here and take a picture of the higher time frame. So this is the weekly. All you got to do is, and I'm actually going to do this. So go to the copy chart image, go over, no. There we go. Put that right there. Paste it right into the description. And then I just type W for weekly. Over here to the daily. Just so you have a good idea of like what the higher time frames look like when you go back and look at your journal trades. Copy chart, daily. Four-hour. Now what you could do is if you have the rewind tool, actually we could just leave it like this. We'll do 4 hour after. One hour. So now what I'll do is take a little zoomed out picture of this, but also I'll use the replay tool to go back to this before I took the trade. One hour zoomed out. And then I'll go right here. Take a clearer picture so you can break down the candles. That's following along.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now what we have is now we can start labeling. Strong. So we got that strong close below. 2 retest. Always make sure that you number these so that I can follow along. If you guys send me your trades, I can follow along with what you were thinking. So retest of 800 with weak body candles closing below. That. Ooh, no, that was 30-minute. $15-minute, same thing. Over here. And now we can fast forward. Actually, fast forward. Second entry. Candle created. You want to write down everything that you could think of with this trade. Okay, so this candle created a bottom wick and passed the low right away, which is not where I took that second entry. What I did was I waited for this top wick to form, and then we flipped bearish. That's why I entered again. Created bottom wick and passed that low right away. Stay patient. Now, closed around 20 pips. Close another 25%. Pips. Oh, what am I doing? Hold on. Close 10 pips.
I'm currently in buys.
Yeah, I see that the rejection. That's nice.
I got in at 479.
479. And where are you looking to take it to?
I'm looking to take it to 157.5. I'm looking to take it back to highs. On the higher time frame.
Okay. Got it.
But it was a buy limit I had activated off of an order block.
Okay. High risk, high reward.
Low risk, high reward.
I'm saying like kind of against the daily trend, but
Yes.
it's still you know, that's the level that we were calling, so it's a good buy. Where's your stop loss?
My stop loss is at 156.37.
37. Got it.
I guess that's why I said low risk.
Yeah. Stop loss at break even. See, this journaling is tedious, but it's very important. That's how you get better. Percent at 3 pips. Cool. I grabbed, was that 32? 32. Right here. Ended up securing 7. Secured another 50% at 32 pips. And then we had the stop loss around, where was it? The 1 hour. Right over here, right above that 1 hour template. We stop loss of the runner. We'll go back to the 15-minute. And then Jonathan, what's up, buddy? I think we got Paul that just came in too. What's up, boys?
Got that. DJ sell as well in the London session.
You got it in London?
Yeah.
Nice, man. What did you do this morning? I think you were working out, right?
It was actually just at my computer. I was actually late in the night. It was like probably 2, 3.
Are you pulled an all-nighter?
I think basically, but I was watching price because I figured he was gonna get a pullback based on how like create a consolidation and stuff. So I was just paying attention to it. And remember why I had messaged you yesterday and stuff regarding to like expecting me pullback and etc. So I was paying attention to it. I already had my levels marked up and stuff, and then I just took it and it basically ran the way how you got your trade set up. And I closed this morning, baby.
Beautiful. Good
But,
shit, buddy.
thanks, man.
Good shit. Jonathan, we got a new member in the group, Lewis. And then Paul, we got a new member, Lewis, in the group. Lewis, this is Jonathan and Paul.
What's going on, Jonathan and Paul? Nice to meet you guys.
As well.
Look forward to trading with you guys too.
Yes,
As
sir.
well. Steph, I'm actually not staying on stream now. I actually got work for this.
That's fine, man. Thanks for popping in.
Okay.
We just did I'm gonna put this on YouTube, but we just did a full fundamental and technical breakdown, full breakdown on GJ, like all the past of why price is at where it's at right now, all the fundamentals, all that stuff. So if you want to take a look at that on YouTube, that'd be great.
Cool, man. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.
Guys, have a good day, guys.
You too, man.
Take
later.
care, man.
And then Lewis, I think Paul just wrote in the chat for you. Let's see. I want to take a picture of the 30-minute real quick. So what I'm doing is I took a screenshot for every action that I took on this pair. So you're going to end up having like 15 to 20 screenshots. And now what I'm doing after all the actions, after getting stopped at a break even, I like to take screenshots of all the other time frames, the higher time frames after the trade. That makes sense? Again, it seems tedious, but this is how you get better, because it's just like watching film as an athlete and seeing like, how you could have blocked this tackler better, how you could have ran this route better, all these different things, and constantly being on top of yourself with the trades that you're taking is going to make you much better, and being critical of yourself, because there's always something that you could have done better. So got one of the 4 hour looks like, and then we'll be done taking screenshots. And now for me, wow, 4 hour after. For me, what I used to do is I used to write a huge description in here, and that might be beneficial for you guys too. Now I only have to jot down a few things in here. Again, as your skill starts to progress, you get more confident, and you've seen your setups. They're all like kind of stuck in your mind, and you know exactly what you're looking for and exactly what you're seeing. These descriptions get a little bit smaller, but always have the screenshots here. So I have about 14 screenshots or 16 screenshots. So now I can erase all this. Now we can go back down to our lower time frames and see where we're at. I also want to check on gold real quick. See, gold is kind of playing out like I said. We got a bearish close right over here. Top wick formed, passing the low of this candle, coming right back down. Again, this isn't a trade I wanted to take on a Monday because we're in this heavy range, big wicks, small bodies. But I saw how we kept rejecting this level right here multiple times and closing below that level. Then we got the 30-minute candle close with a wick to fill. Top wick formed, candle passed the low over here. We retested this low. I just called this thing out before. But this may be the safer range to trade in, and this is even safer. This is maybe a trade I might take on a Tuesday or Wednesday. So we have gold we're monitoring. Did everyone understand that when the with the journaling?
Yeah, I did, bro. It was a good reminder for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, we got to get you back in the back in a nice little rhythm. See you working out though. Good stuff.
Thank you.
So you pretty much take a screenshot of everything that you did, and then you write down, and then put it on the Trello. That's exactly what you did now. That's how you journal every single trade.
So I take screenshots of the weekly, or the weekly in the beginning of the week, and then actually you could always take a picture of the weekly, but most of the time I do like the day. I start with the daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 30-minute, and then I start getting into like breaking down with the bubbles what exactly I'm looking at. And then I start like taking pictures of the entry, and then every action after that: secured at 10 pips, secured at 20 pips, secured at 30 pips, stop loss move to break even, stop loss move to above the 1 hour candle, right? All these things you want to be doing because you want to be able to go back into your journal of like a trade that you took months ago and be able to understand exactly where you were and what you were thinking when you took that trade. Instead of just taking one screenshot of like one time frame, now you could go through the entire trade and see exactly what you were doing.
That's definitely something I got to work on for sure.
100%, and that's what I'm here for. That's what I can help you with. And then I take screenshots of the other time frames after the trade, like 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour. What does it look like now? But between the beginning of your trade and the end of your trade, the higher time frames can look completely different. You want to record that.
Yep.
This would have been a nice one in gold. About if you took it as this candle started flipping bearish, would have been about 26 pips. But as you could see, if you entered right there, you grabbed your 25, 26 pips here, and then moved your stops to break even, this candle flipped almost bullish real quick. It retraced all the way back up to your entry, which you would have been stopped at break even. You got to be careful with that on gold, because gold isn't like any currency pair. Gold will snap you right back, and then if you don't move your stop to break even, it'll take you right out and continue bullish. Yes, sir. I do it a bit differently. I journal it in the Trello notes, but I do take screenshots of all top-down analysis and then also track it. And so I'll learn taking from Stefano's ideas. So multiple ways to do it based on what you prefer. Absolutely. Yeah. Listen. And the way I set up my journal, this doesn't have to be exactly the way you guys do it. Like, especially if you already journal and you're comfortable with the way you guys are journaling, keep it with that. Just make sure that you're putting detail into it. Make sure you're putting effort into it. Because that, when you put effort into it, that's going to give you confidence. It's going to give you more details on your trade and more things that you could be learning from, all that stuff. But again, don't fix what's not broken. if you're already journaling and you set up your journal a certain way, it doesn't have to be this exact title. It doesn't have to be, you know, I would keep it similar to the screenshots, to be honest with you, as far as like every action that you take, the higher time frames, the lower time frames, definitely be doing that. And sometimes when I'm paying attention to the 1 minute, the 5 minute, I'm taking screenshots of that too. It's just this specific trade, I didn't need to. Yeah, 100%, Paul. Thank you. If you half-ass it, you'll get half-assed 100%, just like in anything else. See how gold's just playing around in this range, just creating these big wicks, kind of similar to this one right here, because this one ended up creating a top wick, passed the low of this candle right here, pushed all the way back down to this area, and then snapped right back. This candle passed the high, continued right back up to this area. All right, you would have been caught in that. Same thing that could be happening right here. We could end up holding support here and continue to drive back up. Paul's in a nice mood this morning being down in Florida. I don't blame him. Jealous. I want to be back. He's up in the Tampa area. Yeah, Paul, that's what I was breaking down before. I was saying we could get short-term buys up to this area. I know Jaden is in this. Jaden was able to grab some buys from down here, but you could very well grab some short-term buys up here, hold resistance, and then continue back down. Or we end up breaking above this area. You grab the buys up to 157, which would be a nice little range right here. I believe it's about 18 pips. Again, don't force your way into any trades right now or on a Monday. Just kind of watch the market set up, see if like we in fact are creating that bottom wick on the daily or the 4 hour, or the daily or the weekly, creating the bottom wick on the daily or weekly and continuing bullish from there. Because Jaden could have very well grabbed the dip down here for that to end up happening. So it'll be interesting if this 4 hour candle ends up flipping bullish before it closes, which is going to be in about 40 minutes. Oh yes, we're driving the sunset. Right now I'm trading in the car. You mean the sunrise? Very nice. Buys moving nice. Yes, sir. Yeah, these could have been nice. I would have probably taken these, to be honest with you, if we had a bigger range right here. If this was like a 25, 30 pip range, as we created this bottom wick past the high of that candle, could have very well grabbed this. But I'm going to wait for this if we get it today. Just I'm not a huge fan of the higher time frame we're in. Exactly. And that's why you stay patient. This range that you're sitting in, you could very well wait for this candle to flip bullish and clear 157 and continue up to 158. We're sitting in weekly, monthly wicks. Yep, exactly. I'm just going to use the bathroom real quick. 1 sec. Yo, Paul, I'm in Hollywood, Florida, close to Fort Lauderdale. If you come down, I'll take you up on that if I come back down. Did I tell you I was just down there? I think I did.
Your sister?
What was it?
You said you have a sister down here?
No, I said, did I tell you I was just down there?
Yeah, you did for your bachelor's party. Yeah, you did.
We just missed each other.
I know, man. I was in Colombia too. I just came back, remember? So
That's right.
yeah. But hey, next time, bro. Or if I ever go to New York, I'll let you know.
Awesome. Have you been to the wharf in Miami?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Good spot,
It's
right?
nice. It's nice, bro. Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, we had a good time there. We went right after the Miami game.
Miami Heat or
Heat.
Miami Dolphins? Yeah.
I'm trying to move to Tampa the next year, so Paul, Tampa is, I would say, like a 4-hour drive to Fort Lauderdale.
Mhm.
Depending on the day and time, it could be even longer. But yeah, I would love to. We've been talking about that for a while.
Right.
For me, it's just like tough to leave family.
I think that's what the real estate down here is booming. A lot of people from New York and California are moving down here, and these prices are going crazy
I know.
for the houses. It's like, man, crazy.
I know, it's nuts. Everyone wants to move down there. I feel like it's getting a little crowded in your area now. Yeah, I think on GJ we're gonna have safe buys. SFX trip, that'd be amazing. Yeah, no, Tampa is here. Let's actually take a look at this. I'll show you where Tampa is. Oh, you know what? So get our tools out. Tampa's right up here. Clearwater, St. Petersburg. There's an island over here that my fiance's family loves. It's called Anna Maria Island. And we went right before COVID, but then we're doing our top down analysis on Florida. That's Fort Lauderdale. So it's about a 4-hour drive, I would say.
Yeah. Tampa's the west coast of Florida. Fort Lauderdale's the east coast.
Well, you guys want to see something retarded? Me and my fiance drove from New Jersey all the way to Miami. And then we went there for a week. Halfway through the week, we drove up to Orlando for the day to go to Universal, back down to Miami for a couple of days, and then back up to Jersey,
What?
which was like a 4-hour drive each way that one day.
Yeah. A lot of driving, bro.
Yeah, it's a lot of driving. I don't mind driving though. Dude, we've been
Have
looking.
you've been to Busch Gardens in Tampa, Stephanie?
No, Busch Gardens.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've never been. Rangy, yeah, very consolidated road trip. Yeah, I haven't. Hear good things though. See, if you took that sell on gold over here, it would have been playing around with you. We've been all over the place. Like that bottom wick on, or this candle on the 30-minute, as you could see on the lower time frames, that's where you break these candles down. You could see how all over the place this thing would have been playing around with you. right? But we were still respecting lower highs. And this is where you start to analyze the lower time frames here. But that's something you don't have to worry about just yet if you're just starting out trading or really starting to master your pair. You don't have to break down these lower time frames. But once you start back testing on the simulator and stuff like that, drop down to the lower time frames and just analyze how they move, because they move just like the higher time frames, just a lot faster. But you get candles and formations form, bearish and bullish formations forming just like you do on the 30-minute. And as you can see, like right now we're still respecting this area, but we're not breaking the bearish trend yet. But we're creating a higher low so far, and this almost looks like a fake out, just like you would get in the 30-minute. We get the fake out, price closes back in the range, comes back down to retest the previous support, and we continue up. 30-minute just closed, and it closed right back into the range. All right, so you're still stuck in this range, nothing in here yet. You need to wait for candles to close below that level. 30-minute on GJ just closed, so maybe you wait for like a support to form over here to take price back up to this level. But I would personally, on a Monday, if this was a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe I would take this, but I'd personally wait for this. All right, guys, so unfortunately I do have to run because I have to head up to the city. But with that being said, guys, great session. I'm glad I was actually, if you guys look at the London session, I called this entire trade before we hopped on the stream. So, Peter's normally in the London session, and he can't hop on during the New York unless it's Wednesday because of work for him. But you'll see us talking in here if I am taking something before the session. And sometimes we'll be posting it in the New York session too. But just pay attention to all the channels. And again, with that being said, guys, it's Monday. Get the most out of yourselves today. Write in your nightly journal. You should have last night for all your goals and everything that you want to be doing this week, and set those weekly deadlines that you need to hit, like back testing 7 hours, just like I said in the announcements. Right over here, if you guys back test 7 hours, if you miss one day, you back test 2 hours the next day. And there could be a bunch of other deadlines that you guys hit as well. Personally, whether it's fitness, whether it's trading, personal stuff, whatever you want to do, just make sure you have deadlines for the week, right? And that's how you put some pressure on yourself without being like unhealthy pressure. All right. So have a great day. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Journal your trades, post them in the group Trello, and I'll be posting mine, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
All right, man. Take care, man. Have a good day.
Man. Nice having you, buddy. See you guys.